going to do this a little bit differently this time. Can you start with your name and where you're from?
Ben Kauser from Paulding, Ohio.
And?
Jeff Hogan from Austin, Indiana.
And you're the current owner of this truck?
Correct. And my brother. My brother and myself, yes.
How long ago did you get it?
Oh, man. 2005.
Okay. And it's a 1971. Yes. I skipped that. A 4070A, yep. Which is a little bit more uncommon than what we normally see a B model at a show. You bought it in 2005.
Yes.
Did it look like this when you got it?
No, it was a short single axle.
Well, it had a tag axle on it, and I took that off. When I got it, guy had owned it before. Some people took a hammer to it and then broke the windows out and knocked the marker lights off, a few other things, but I happened to have all them parts in my shop.
When did you get it?
Oh, I got it in 2000, I think it was.
So you didn't have it too long?
About 5 years. Mm-hmm. I just figured Ben and Zach needed a project.
Did you need a project?
Well, we were fairly young at that time, and it was just awfully nice of Jeff to offer it to us. It was one of those deals where he had a stipulation that we had to restore it. Ended up getting it done right before my graduation party of high school. Invited Jeff to my graduation party, and that's where he got to first see it after it was restored. So
I'm guessing neon green and black weren't your high school colors. You
no.
Just chose something
wild. Yeah.
A little bit. And what did you think when you saw it the first time?
Well, I thought it was pretty neat. I was just glad to see it restored. But it's got that two-cycle Detroit in it, and there's not that many around anymore. It's kind of a classic.
Did it come from somewhere nearby?
Originally, that truck was a Ryder truck that come out of Toledo. And a guy I knew in Bluffton had bought it, and they put the tag axle on it.
Bluffton, Ohio, or Bluffton, Indiana?
Indiana. And then they had it on with one of the freight outfits that are no longer here. The guy that was driving it, he made a mistake and run across the company inspection lane one day, and they said it needed new kingpins, but basically they wanted it off the road because it was too old. Well, it used to be if you had a truck over 5, 6 years old, they wouldn't lease you on. They told me I had bad kingpins, and as far as I know, they're still in that truck yet. But that was their way of breaking the lease on it.
Have you had any problems?
No problems.
Bob Whitwer was the man I got it from, and so he parked it, and it sat for about 10 years, and that's when it got destroyed. Gave it to me with the promise I'd fix it up. Well, I did pull the broken pieces back on it and got it running.
You had to follow up on his promise is what really happened here.
I'm tickled to death to see it like it is because you don't see that many of them around anymore.
I can probably count on one hand how many 4070As I've seen, I think.
Yeah, because the A was between the CO 4000 and the 4070B. Mm-hmm. The A was only like 3-4 years maybe.
Did you have any issues with the truck that you had to find something sort of rare?
No, it was pretty straight. It was kind of tough getting like headlight buckets and little odds and ends like that, but it was all there. The inside was amazingly clean because when I got the truck, like I said, it's up for 10 years. But in the bunk was the last driver's road atlas, which probably young ones don't know what them are. His logbook and everything.
It's like Google Maps, but on paper.
I mean, it's like he's ready to leave on his next trip. Yep. But old Ross kept that thing pretty nice on the inside.
So what was the biggest thing you had to do other than paint? Nothing too extreme?
No, not at all. The motor's still hasn't been touched. It is a Detroit, so it leaks oil. That's just common.
Yeah, I guess what's engine, transmission, all that.
Yeah, it's 13-speed, 8B71, 318 Detroit.
Which the folks will hear.
Yep. It's loud and proud and leaks oil.
Which is why I wasn't here last year, right?
Right.
So did you get to drive it when you had it at all?
Oh, yeah. I used to move trailers with around my place. Had it out on the road a couple of times. But I had other trucks I would rather drive, but I did.
Yeah, these are just fun to look at. Now that I've ridden in one, I understand.
Well, when I got out of the service, I worked for a garage. We serviced trucks for a factory there in Bluffton, but Cardinal Leasing out of Cincinnati owned those tractors. They were brand new 67 CO 4000s. Compared to the Army truck, I thought that was just about the neatest thing there ever was. It actually had interior. CO 4000 was after of the Emerville. I worked for a company and drove some of them, and they were strictly all metal interior them. Yeah.
So if it's loud already, that doesn't help. Yeah. What is your favorite thing about it now that it's all finished?
It's the sound, for sure.
Even from inside?
Yep.
Do you wear earplugs?
You have to. If you're going on a pretty good drive, you definitely need earplugs.
What's the furthest you've taken it? Out of state?
No, it has not been drove out. Well, yeah.
We had it over to
Headed at Bearfield,
South Bend.
South Bend. I think it got
Is that
trailer
further
to
than
South
Lima?
Bend. We went to Schroyer's show in Lima. I think that's about the furthest.
All right.
Wouldn't want to drive it any further.
30 miles farther, and you could have just driven it right to me.
Yeah, I don't think that motor has all that many miles on it, because the guy there in Bluffton overhauled that about a year before they parked it. I'd venture to say they're probably not 100,000 miles on that motor. First time I had it running, it scared me to death. I didn't realize that injector was stuck on that right bank. I was amazed that it rolled over just that fast. It was screaming. And I pulled the emergency shut off, and it would come out in my hand. And heater hoses were so rotten they fell off. So it fortunately, the water hose is there, so I stuck it in the radiator and turned it on to keep it cool. But I just had the fuel coming out of a small can. At least I pulled that out, and it did die. But I know my wife and daughter come running out of the house. What's going on out here? You know, the neighbor guy, he thought there was a plane at Bearfield trying to, but the neighborhood did know when I had it running. Sure, they just didn't appreciate good sound. Yep.
Who did all your lettering and pinstriping?
It was actually my uncle. He doesn't do it anymore.
Well, that's cool. Have another little family touch on it.
Yep. The rear end, that come off of a 9370 International, like our gray truck down here. But it's fun to drive. Definitely a head turner.
What's the color called?
AMC Grabber Green.